exercise P2-7, what we're going to be taking a look at is how to not only create the additional or the initial shape, but also the flat oval slot that is through there. So the first thing I'm going to do is just start a new standard IPT. And starting from the origin point, as soon as this comes up, I'm going to begin to actually just draw the rough shape of the object. I'm going to use very few dimensions, but I'm going to do things a little bit differently than you may think, just to try to make my life a little bit easier as I begin to draw this part. So I'm going to start with the line command, and I'm just going to draw the line across the bottom, which is going to be 5. That's pretty much the only dimension that I'm going to place as I go through here, and I'm just going to begin to draw the rest. So I'm going to draw this line up, and instead of putting the arc in, I'm just going to draw it as straight for right now. And you'll see why in a few minutes. That it's actually going to be a lot easier. Now that line that is supposed to be vertical, that's not vertical, I don't really care about that at the moment. I'm just going to go ahead and continue on getting my rough shape. Okay, so there is the rough shape that I am working with. I'm going to use a vertical constraint on this line to make it go vertical. I'm then going to use equal constraints on this line and this line, this line and this line, this line and this line, and then this piece and this piece will be vertical and then or equal. And when I try to put it on these two, it should give me an over constraint error. So now I can continue with the dimensioning process. I know that my overall height is going to be 4, so I will put in 4 for the overall height. I know that this distance right here is 1, so I am going to make that 1. The height that I am looking for on this section right here is 1.5. The depth of this top cut is 0.5. And the distance from here to here is 1.5. Now that I have the shape that I'm looking for completed, I can then go ahead and extrude this object. Now, I know that I have not yet put in this arc right here. I just did not really feel like switching out of the line command to go to the arc command and stuff like that, but you'll see that it can be put in very quickly here in a second. I'm going to finish this sketch and I'm going to go to extrude. And the thickness on this particular object is 1.25. So I'll put in the 1.25, and then I'm going to fillet this edge and this edge with a radius of 1. Okay, so whereas it only took a couple of clicks of the mouse to put in these fillets, doing it using the other method in the sketch would have actually taken several additional dimensions and things like that. So now I'm going to click on my front face here and just go to create sketch. And now within the line command, I'm going to create the entire flat oval. So I'm going to left click from here to here to draw my line, and then as I come back over the end point of this line, and instead of the little yellow dot that follows my cursor, it should turn gray. Once it turns gray, I'm going to left click and drag an arc off of that. And I'm going to bring that out to meet up with the other end point, and then left click and drag again to actually create the flat oval. Now there's some things in here that need to be addressed, which I'll get to momentarily. The first thing I want to do is put in all the dimensions that locate this and put it where it needs to be. So from this center point to this edge is 1.5. The distance from this center to this center is 2. The height from here down is 1. And the radius on this is 0.5. Okay, now that I have all the dimensions, I can see that it has turned blue and that I can go ahead and extrude this. So I'll click Finish Sketch, Extrude, and this time I'm going to select this button right here. Well, first I have to pick my profile. And then I'm going to select this button right here to cut. And then instead of a distance, I'm just going to say all, and then click OK. So what you can see here is I created the rough shape first, put in the fillets on either side, and then cut out the flat oval. And that concludes exercise P2-7.